Hey Bullets YouTube channel.
Hurry up, now tell us why you're here.
This rookie is Slide Park, and this other rookie is Jerry Naydrive. And also, here is Aiken Axler, the son of Andrew Axler. And this other rookie is Todd Marcus, who was hired by Team No Stall after Larry Smith retired. This car is Cortland, who will be the backup racer for Team 4-Wheel Drive. Jeremy Carfield has this new look, the number 12. And Ernie Swerven now has this look, yet another number 36. And Sterling Carlin has this look, the number 40. And the team he joined is Big 4 Racing, who now has 4 cars. Chevrolet Motorsports has added Jerry Naydrive just in case if Ricky Carvin crashes. Pancake Shift Right Racing brought back the 12 for Jeremy Carfield. Blaster Charger Racing, the Anti-Chick Hicks team, Rush Racing, and Alloy Wilson Racing are all the same as last season. The Pit Stops Revolting crew did have a change, because Phil Pitstops retired and Oliver Engines was fired! The 2 spots they left behind were taken by Slider Petrolsky and Matthew Freewill at Wheel. The Wood Brothers Racing and Joe Gears Racing are still the same as last season, but Dale Earnhardt Incorporated adds Slide Park, the rookie, to the team. Well, Dale Earnhardt personally chose Slide Park to be his first racer. Even Ken Schrader has a new team, alongside Ernie Swerven. These guys are both the number 36. This means that Dale Earnhardt is the only car on the Crazy 8s team. And of course, Dynaco Motorsports only has the king. Now, onto the race. Bobby Cabani will start at pole position, but quickly lose the lead to his older brother Terry Cabani, who will lead from laps 2 to 4 before Bobby would once again take the lead, leading for just 4 laps before Murray Klotchburn would take the lead from him, leading until lap 52. But then Chick Hicks would lead until lap 57, where James Clean Air would take the lead. But Chick Hicks ends up saying this to James Clean Air, which means now James is out, and that green car would get back into the lead. But the king will take the lead on lap 62 and lead to lap 79. And Ernie Gearson is out due to an engine failure. Dale Earnhardt will take the lead on lap 79 and he'd lead to lap 139, where Chick Hicks is 22nd as of lap 117, where he crashes Krusty Rotor, Slide Park, Ricky Slud, and Todd Marcus. Dale Earnhardt actually has something to say to that mean green car. The king will take the lead after the restart and would lead all the way to lap 164, where Sterling Carlin will take the lead for 4 laps before he loses the lead to Jeff Corvette, who will lead all the way to lap 195. On lap 195, Rusty Wheelhouse will take the lead for just 2 laps before Ward Burrington cuts a tire, and now he's out! Dale Earnhardt will take the lead after that and would lead for 8 laps before the lead would be taken by WJ Lights. He would stay in the lead for 11 more laps before Ken Schrader is out because of Eugene Korboreski. Well, of course that happens, but Jeff Corvette will take the lead on lap 219 and lead for 19 laps before Jeff Burton is out. Same with Michael Cartrip and Clint Speed. They're out because of Kyle Traxon. Why? But Rowley Bolt Strike would lead for 89 laps. How does any car lead for 89 laps? But then Chick Hicks takes the lead. But luckily, Dale Earnhardt would make him stop leading, and Dale Earnhardt would lead to lap 348, where Rusty Wheelhouse would take the lead from him. But then he'd only lead 2 laps because Bobby Cabani would take the lead from him, leading until lap 384, where Dale Earnhardt would retake the lead until lap 409, where he'd lose the lead to the king. And the king would lead for just 10 laps before Dale Earnhardt would once again retake the lead until lap 444, where Billy Oil Changer will take the lead for just 3 laps until Holingus decides to pass him and lead until lap 453, where Misty Motocross somehow flips, and of course, Claude Scruggs had something to say. Why does it matter so much? But Bobby Carboni would take the lead on lap 454, and he'd lead to lap 477, where Holingus would do a bump and run, but he'd lose the lead on lap 480 to Jeff Gorvette. Jeff Gorvette would only lead for 6 laps before Bobby Carboni would once again take the lead. But on lap 491, Dale Earnhardt will take the lead, and for the last 9 laps, he holds off the other cars and keeps his lead. But on his way to the finish line, Clint Shiftright and Chuck Armstrong wreck out. But it's a race to the finish, and Bob Cutlass says this: 20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration, Dale Earnhardt will come through the caution flag to win the Florida 500. That means that Dale Earnhardt is the winner of the 1998 Florida 500. And every pity from every crew came to congratulate Dale Earnhardt in his win in the 1998 Florida 500. And this is what Dale Earnhardt had to say about his win. And here is the top 20 of the 1998 Florida 500.
Remember to press the notifications button, which goes ring, ring, ring after you press it. And lightning strikes back, and that's as if you subscribed, of course. And thank you for watching this entire video.
The 1998 Piston Cup races 2 to 35, Part 1, will be out very soon.
KA Bullets YouTube channel.
Hurry up, now tell us why you're here.
I forgot to mention this last video, but this is Mark Carton's new look, and the second race will have Rowley Boltstrike start at pole position, but Chick Hicks wrecks 15 cars, and Jeff Gorvette would end up winning the second race. Dale Carrett will start at pole position for the third race, but then Chick Hicks does his usual thing, wrecking 18 cars. Holingus would be the car that would lead the most laps with 178, but in the end, Murray Clutchburn would almost win the third race. The winner is Mark Carton, who will win the third race. And some very bad news just happened before the fourth race. Slide Park is out for 15 races due to a hard crash. Daryl Cartrip will come out of retirement to replace Slide Park for these 15 races. Rowley Boltstrike will once again start at pole position for the fourth race, but then Kyle Traxon goes airborne on lap 107, and now he's out for the season because of his rival Chick Hicks, who will be suspended for 2 races for causing Kyle Traxon to go airborne. But Jeff Gorvette would only lose by 5 feet to Holingus, who will win the fourth race. The pole sitter of the fifth race is Mark Carton, who will start at pole position for the fifth race, where Ryan Thunderbolt Jr. would go airborne on lap 67 because of Eugene Kowarecki. Why? But now he's out because of Ken Schrader. Well, of course that happened. And Murray Clutchburn would win the fifth race. He would start second to Clint Shiftright in the sixth race, where Clint Shiftright is the pole sitter. And Ruby Easy Oaks would get flipped on lap 189 because of Rowley Boltstrike. Why? Jeff Gorvette would end up winning the sixth race. The pole sitter of the seventh race is once again Mark Carton, who will start at pole position for the seventh race. But then Chick Hicks would wreck 15 cars. Mark Carton doesn't like that, but he will lead the most laps in the race with 316. And Mark Carton would win the seventh race, winning his second race of the season. Jeff Gorvette will start at pole position for the eighth race, where Chick Hicks wrecks 14 cars. the King will be the car that almost wins the 8th race, but instead, Jeff Gorvette will win his 3rd race of the season with the 8th race. A surprising pole sitter for the 9th race being Johnny Blamer, and now he's out because of Chick Hicks! And Ivan Yoder is out for the season. The King will end up leading the most laps with 98, but he will almost win and lose only by 10 feet to Mark Carton, who will win the 9th race. He'll start 3rd to Hollingus, who will be the pole sitter for the 10th race. And now James Clean Air is out for 7 races because of a hard crash caused by Chick Hicks, who will be suspended for 12 races. Claude Scruggs will almost win the 10th race somehow, but the King will end up winning the 10th race. And Claude Scruggs actually has something to say, and here's what he has to say. I don't even know if Misty Motocross pays attention. Rusty Wheelhouse will start at pole position for the 11th race, but Ken Schrader is out alongside his teammate Ernie Swervin because of Eugene Komareski. Why? Jeff Gorvette will only lose by 6 feet to his teammate Terry Carboni, who will win the 11th race. He will start nowhere near the front for the 12th race, but the car who does is WJ Lights, who will start at pole position for the 12th race, where Jeff Gorvette will lead the most laps with 122, and Eugene Komareski is out because of Ken Schrader. Well, of course that happened. Rowley Boltstrike will win the 12th race somehow, but Jeff Gorvette will start at pole position for the 13th race, where Billy Oil Changer will get flipped on lap 171 because of Ron Blaster. Why? Eugene Komareski would wreck these cars, and Daryl Cartrip will be first with 1 to go. But a car that idolized him, Jeremy Carfield, will pass him and win his very first race, the 13th race. Bobby Carboni will start at pole position for the 14th race, but Dale Earnhardt, Bill Racelot, Ernie Swervin, Sterling Carlin, Ryan Thunderbolt Jr., Krusty Roeder, and Ryan Shields will all be involved in a hard crash that was not caused by the green car, Chick Hicks! But a nicer green car, Bobby Carboni, would lead the most laps with 192, and he would win the 14th race. A car that was wrecked the previous race, Krusty Roeder, will start at pole position for the 15th race, where Owen Drivewell is now out for the season because of John Hicks. Why? Eugene Komareski is out because of his rival, Ken Schrader. Well, of course that happened, but Dale Earnhardt would almost win the 15th race, but in the end, Mark Carton beat him and would win the 15th race. Ruby Easy Oaks will start at pole position for the 16th race, where Ken Schrader is out because of Eugene Komareski. Well, of course that happened. Jeff Gorvette will end up only losing by 12 feet to the King, who will win his 2nd race of the season, the 16th race. James Clean Air is back and will start at the pole for the 17th race. Buck Schooner would get flipped on lap 111 because of Tommy Redstop? Why? And now he's out for the season because he hit the very next wall very hard. A car that would not hit the wall, Mark Carton, would lead the most laps with 106, but Clint Shiftright would win the 17th race. Bobby Carboni will start at pole position for the 18th race, but Johnny Blamer goes airborne on lap 81 because of Rusty Cornfuel. Why? Jeff Gorvette would easily lead the most laps with 96, but Bobby Carboni would almost win the 18th race, but it wasn't really a challenge for Jeff Gorvette to win his 4th race of the season. Luckily, Slide Park is back for the 19th race. Eugene Karbareski will start at pole position for the 19th race, but now he's out on the first lap because of Ken Schrader. Well, of course that happened. And Jimmy Speed Car will be out for 2 races because of a hard crash. Jeremy Carfield would also be out a few laps later. Ward Burnton would cut a tire on lap 77, and his older brother Jeff would jump over Chuck Armstrong to take the lead. And Chuck Armstrong is out on the last lap, but Jeff Gorvette will win the 19th race despite the caution. WJ Lights will start at pole position for the 20th race, where Rowley Boltstrike would lead the most laps with 304. Dale Earnhardt would almost win the 20th race, but Jeff Gorvette will get his 3rd win in a row with the 20th race. Paul Ingus will start at pole position for the 21st race, but now Murray Clutchburn is out alongside Ken Schrader because of Eugene Karbareski. Why? Michael Cartrip will be out because of a different crash alongside Mark Burnsley because of Todd Marcus. Why? Ryan Thunderbolt Jr. will be first as of the last lap, but Todd Marcus somehow slams him into the wall. But Jeff Gorvette still beats Todd Marcus to win his 4th race in a row with the 21st race. Ken Schrader will start at pole position for the 22nd race, but then Jack Hicks would wreck 13 cars. Jeff Burnton would jump over a car, but it's Sammy Smelter who still stinks. That's gross! The car that ends up winning this race is Dale Cart, who wins the 22nd race. Hall Ingus will start at pole position for the 23rd race, but then Jack Hicks ends up wrecking 27 cars! How does any car wreck 27 other cars? Claude Scruggs has nothing to say. But Darren Redfoot, who avoided all of the wrecks, will lead the most laps with 83. But he can't win because Mark Carton ends up winning the 23rd race. He also had to deal with Darren Redfoot's drafting, which makes it really difficult to pass him on the last lap. Rowley Boltstrike will start at pole position for the 24th race, but then Joe Brakecheck would go airborne on lap 124 because of Jack Hicks! Why? Mark Burnsley would almost win the 24th race, but Clint Shiftright used the wall to pass him and win the 24th race. Jeff Gorvette will start at pole position for the 25th race, but then Jack Hicks! Wait, he's out because of Manny Flywheel, who saves the field once again. Eugene Karbareski is out on lap 93 because of Ken Schrader. Well, of course that happened. Mark Carton will once again come 2nd place, losing by 16 feet to Jeff Gorvette, who wins the 25th race. Ward Burnton will start at pole position for the 26th race, where Jack Hicks wrecks 15 cars. Johnny Blamer is out with 4 to go because of Todd Marcus. Why? Mark Carton will get yet another 2nd place finish to Jeff Gorvette, who wins the 26th race. Here is the top 20 as of the end of the 26th race. And also, the bottom half of this top 20 looks weird again.
Remember to press the notifications button, which goes goes ring, ring, ring after you press it. And lightning strikes back, and that's as if you subscribed, of course. And thank you for watching this entire video.
1998 Piston Cup races 27 to 35 will be out tomorrow. And the 1998 Dynaco 400 will be out very soon. Stay tuned for both of those videos.
KA Bullets YouTube channel.
Hurry up, now tell us why you're here.
Dale Carrett will start at pole position for the 27th race, but then Dirksen Augustino would go airborne on lap 80 because of Chick Hicks, who wrecks 21 cars. Dale Earnhardt is very upset that Chick Hicks keeps wrecking cars, and Chick Hicks said this to Dale Earnhardt, and now he's out because of Dale Earnhardt, who wrecks Chick Hicks. Yes, that's a good thing. The King would end up leading the most laps with 134. And now Ken Schrader is out because of Eugene Carbureski. Why? Jeff Burton would almost win the 27th race, but in the end, Jeff Corvette would win his 10th race of the season with the 27th race. And finally, another car that isn't Chick Hicks wins the Southern 500. Darren Ledfoot will start at pole position for the 28th race, but then Chick Hicks wrecks 17 cars. And Dale Earnhardt is still upset about Chick Hicks wrecking other cars. The King would end up almost winning the 28th race, but in the end, Jeff Burton wins the 28th race. Somehow, Ernie Gearson would DNQ the 29th race due to an engine failure. Chick Hicks will start at pole position for the 29th race, but Rusty Wheelhouse would get flipped on lap 128 because of Chick Hicks. Why? But Billy Oil Changer would end up leading the most laps with just 54, meaning the race was quite competitive. But who almost wins or wins, you ask? Kenny Shiftright would only lose by 4 feet to Mark Carton, who wins the 29th race. Somehow, Ernie Swerven will start at pole position for the 30th race, where Chick Hicks wrecks other cars on lap 1, and Jerry Nadrive is out due to an overheating problem. Rowley Boltstrike would somehow lead 401 laps, and Eugene Carbureski is out because of Ken Schrader. Well, of course this happens again. And Ralph Carlo would go airborne on lap 417 because of Todd Marcus. Why? Ron Blaster would only lose by 14 feet to the King, and the King would win the 30th race. But Jeff Corvette will start at pole position for the 31st race, where Chick Hicks wrecks 14 cars, and now he's out due to a surprise wreck from Sterling Carlin. Hooray! You wrecked the green car! And Sterling Carlin would end up leading the most laps with 160, but Mark Carton still wins the 31st race, which is his 7th win this year. Jeremy Carfield will start at pole position for the 32nd race, where Finn Overtire is out for the season and the first 7 races of next season because of the Hicks brothers. Why? And now they'll both be suspended for the rest of the season for causing this wreck. And Slider Petrolski would somehow jump on other cars' roofs to eventually take the lead and lead the most laps with 299. Slider Petrolski also only loses by 5 feet to Dale Carrett, who still wins the 32nd race. Darren Ledfoot would start at pole position for the 33rd race, where... Wait a second! Isn't he suspended? Well, he's wrecked by Dale Earnhardt, who wrecks Chick Hicks! And since he was caught Chick Hicks will be suspended for the first half of next season. Ken Schrader is out because of Eugene Karbareski. Well, of course that happened, and Murray Clutchburn would lead the most laps with 301, and 105 of those laps were in a row. How? But Jeff Gorvette would end up winning the 33rd race. WJ Lights will start at pole position for the 34th race, and somehow Krusty Rotor hits the wall on the last lap, which gives the win to Rusty Wheelhouse, who wins the 34th race. Mark Carton will start at pole position for the 35th race, where Johnny Blamer goes into the catch fence on lap 44 because of Todd Marcus. Why? Clint Shiftright would end up leading the most laps with 237, and now Eugene Karbareski is out because of his rival Ken Schrader. Well, of course that happened, and Jeff Gorvette wins the 35th race, his 12th win this season, which basically gives him the Piston Cup. But the Piston Cup was never given before the Dynaco 400, so we still have to wait until the Dynaco 400 to give Jeff Gorvette the Piston Cup. Besides, the Dynaco 400 is always interesting. And Mark Carton is at least 300 points behind Jeff Gorvette, which means he can't win the Piston Cup. But I display with text that the King or Dale Earnhardt can only finish second if Mark Carton comes last.
Remember to press the notifications button, which goes ring, ring, ring after you press it. And lightning strikes back, and that's as if you subscribed, of course. And thank you for watching this entire video.
Don't let the fact that Jeff Gorvette has already mathematically won the 1998 Piston Cup dissuade you from watching the 1998 Dynaco 400. Even if there was a dominant racer across the entire season, the Piston Cup is never given to the winner before the Dynaco 400. So stay tuned for that video.
KA Bullets YouTube channel.
Hurry up, now tell us why you're here.
Sad news. Clint Shiftright will be retiring at the end of the season. But Clint Shiftright, thank you for everything that you've given us. Kenny Shiftright, his brother, will start at pole position and lead for the first 16 laps before Todd Marcus is third as of lap 16, where he crashes the leader Kenny Shiftright, Rowley Boltstrike, Murray Clutchburn, Sterling Carlin, Ron Blaster, Ernie Swervin, Ernie Gearson, Krusty Rotor, and Johnny Blamer. Dale Earnhardt will take the lead to restart the race, and he'd lead to lap 31, where Hall Ingus would do a bonsai pass, and he'd lead to lap 37, where the King would take the lead from him. The King would lead all the way to lap 58, where he'd lose the lead to Ward Burnton, somehow, for 3 turns. But then Todd Marcus will take the lead for 9 laps before another red car, Ryan Thunderbolt Jr., would take the lead, leading to lap 71, where Mark Carton, a car that's way nicer, would lead to lap 75, where WJ Lights would take the lead from him. WJ Lights would lead for 12 laps before Jeff Gorvette would take the lead from him. Jeff Gorvette would lead all the way to lap 131, where the King would take the lead from him, leading for over 30 laps before Michael Cartrip would be out because of an engine failure. Mark Carton would take the lead, and he'd lead to lap 186 for over 20 laps before Clint Shiftright would take the lead for just 4. The car that takes the lead after is Jeff Gorvette, and Jeff Gorvette would lead the race for 45 laps before Dale Earnhardt would take the lead from him, leading for just 11 laps before Jeremy Caulfield would take the lead and lead to lap 252, where Chuck Armstrong is out because he crashed into Terry Carboni, who who is also out because he hit the wall. Todd Marcus caused this crash. Why? Clint Shiftright would end up taking the lead, and he'd lead for 11 laps before Jeff Burnton would take the lead from him, leading all the way to lap 289, where Ken Schrader is out because of Eugene Karbareski. Well, of course that happened, and Dale Cart will take the lead once more, leading for just 8 laps, where Jeff Gorvette would take the lead from him, leading for 49 laps before Ricky Sludd would be out because of an engine failure. Jeff Gorvette would go down 1 lap because he's tired, and Todd Marcus would take the lead on lap 348. But on lap 351, where he lost the lead, Jeff Gorvette is back on lead lap. And the car that takes lead is Ruby Easy Oaks, who will lead for 3 laps before he'd lose the lead to the King. And the King would only lead 5 laps before Dale Cart would take the lead from him. Dale Cart will lead for 12 laps before the King retakes the lead. And he'd lead for just another 5 laps before Mark Carton would take the lead from him, leading to lap 385 for a total of 8 laps before Dale Cart would take the lead for the final 15 laps. But on his way to the finish line, Jeff Gorvette passes him, and that means he wins the 1998 Dynaco 400 and, of course, the 1998 Piston Cup. Let's see who came in the next 39 positions. Jeff Gorvette won this Piston Cup, winning 13 races, which has not been done for a very long time. Mark Carton, of course, came second. Dale Cart will finish third ahead of the King, due to the fact that Dale Cart came second and the King came ninth. Clint Shiftright has a top 5 for his final season, and Hollingus is just behind him. Dale Earnhardt could not build upon his win in the Florida 500, and he finishes 8th in points because he only had 1 win, and a few crashes too. Somehow, Rowley Boltstrike finished outside of the top 10, despite his 1 win, only a position ahead of Jeremy Carfield, who got his first win. Ward Burnton did much better this season, since he's finished 22nd. Chick Hicks is still in the top 20, finishing 17th, only barely beating out Chuck Armstrong. Murray Clutchburn, when he wasn't being wrecked by the green car Chick Hicks, he's finishing in the top 10, which means he finishes 13th this season. Jeff Burton's still in the top 10 for some reason. And also, Eugene Karbareski only lost to Chick Hicks by 4 points. And the other 236 cars finished 23rd and 24th. Ron Blaster is always going to finish around late 20s, 27th this time. Todd Marcus finished 26th. To be fair, he did miss like 1 race. And also, Mark Burnsley's always going to finish in like the high 30s or the low 20s. And also, Bill Racelot and Sterling Carlin somehow just finish up the top 20 somehow. Darren Leadfoot, who didn't have a season-ending crash this season, finished in the top 40 again. Michael Cartrip and Kenny Shiftright had significantly better seasons than usual seasons. And Slider Petrolski is somehow 35th. Jerry Nadrive and Ricky Carvin did not do well this season. Well, Jerry Nadrive was expected to finish much higher, but it's okay, it's just his rookie year. So, the 225 cars didn't do that well. And Ernie Gearson kept having engine failures.
Remember to press the notifications button, which goes ring, ring, ring after you press it. And lightning strikes back, and that's as if you subscribed, of course. And thank you for watching this entire video.
Here was one more thing I was going to say about the top 40. Ryan Thunderbolt Jr. finished 37th. And Kyle Traxon gave him his pit crew for the season after he was out for the season. And Kyle Traxon is still absent from the top 40. About the next video, the 1999 Florida 500 will be coming out very soon.